You don't have to be rich to rule my world. You don't have to be cool to be my girl. Ain't no particular sign I'm not compatible with. I just want your extra time and your kiss. Obviously, this story is now a few hours old. Alec Baldwin and Rust armourer Hannah Gutierrez-Reed are to face involuntary manslaughter charges after that awful killing of Helena Hutchins on the set of that film, which also co-starred Jensen Ackles. And what I find really interesting, I mean, Hannah Gutierrez-Reed, she was a very inexperienced gun armourer on film sets. And, you know, if you go back to last year when this tragedy unfolded, it was almost like she couldn't be bothered to even take her job seriously. She was more interested in posting social media pictures of herself in various poses and various outfits. So what's really interesting is that while this is going to be justice for Helena Hutchins' family, and it's going to be a slap on the wrist because it's involuntary manslaughter, meaning Alec Baldwin didn't really pull that trigger with an intent purpose of killing. It just happened by accident because he wasn't informed, from a guy who says he's experienced of handling firearms as an actor. He played Jack Ryan in The Hunt for Red October, and for me, he's actually my favorite Jack Ryan. So if he's had an experience of arming a weapon as a character, or it's it being armed for him, how can he be so lackadaisical about the matter? Do you know what I mean? It's so strange. They're saying he's going to face about 5 years in prison, which is just really a slap on the wrist, and he'll be out in 2 years, and then he might be ostracized from Hollywood by that point, or he might get work again somewhere else. But the Hollywood elites, they think they are so protected, and I guess this is an example now of where that necessarily won't be the case. Nobody is untouchable because this trial is actually happening in Mexico or New Mexico. It's a different kettle of fish out there because it happened on their turf. So I'm curious to see what's going to happen that both Hannah and Alec are going to emerge with later on. I'm betting as well that when it all happens, because when it did occur on the set, you know, Alec Baldwin was walking around and he's an actor, so he's just pre-rehearsing a reaction about what's he going to say if he's been asked a question. He's been media trained for a very long time, so I'm not surprised. It's a real fall from grace for a guy whose many films I loved watching, and I thought he was terrific on 30 Rock. But wow, I mean, to say that the mighty hath fallen so hard on the ground that there's cracks everywhere is a bit of an understatement.
Hello. I'm speaking to you from inside my chest.
Now, Hogwarts Legacy. We know the furore about this video game at the moment, don't we? It entered Steam's top 10 best-selling games despite multiple calls for boycott, false user tag protest, and subreddit ban. So you have all these weirdos on Twitter. They make videos saying, well, you mustn't buy Hogwarts Legacy because if you do that, you're supporting transphobia. Despite the fact in the video game itself, you can actually play as a trans character if you choose that option. Personally, I'll play as a male or a female, you know, the only two biological sexes around, folks, because apparently when J.K. Rowling said there is such a thing as a real woman and there's no other substitute, everybody lost their mind. I was with a friend yesterday and we were talking about JK and how she might not just be the target for trans activists or people that support that. It's other factions in society who maybe took umbrage to the fact that she supported Salman Rushdie.
Bingo. So why don't you boys pack up your shit and head back to Fuckheadistan or wherever it is you're from?
You know, these people are completely out of their minds. They have nothing better to do. And no one is going to sit here and tell me I cannot go out there and buy a film or a video game, because if you do that, it's going to support a very bad cause. You remember the days when you rented out a video from Blockbusters, you put it in, and then it will say to you, if you pirate this film, you're supporting organized crime, you're supporting trafficking, everything else. But did anybody listen to that? No, because if you liked the rental of the film that you now intend to buy, you're going to go out there and buy it, aren't you? And in fact, I would say every product, maybe 90% of the products you buy, all the money may have gone to support a very bad thing that you're not aware of. So, do you know what I say? Ignorance is bliss. That's it. And I'm going to order my copy of Hogwarts Legacy tomorrow from Amazon, and I'm going to flash it up when I get it, and I cannot wait. It's like telling a child, don't jump off the cliff, Jimmy, just stay here. No, Jimmy's going to jump off the cliff because he wants to see what it's going to be like in the water below.
Why does it have to be sexual? Why can't men just do something for the challenge of it? Because it's fun.
Men don't do things just to do them, okay? We're busy running the world, providing for our families.
Okay, so here's my last story for the day, folks. Director John Carpenter claims he's not involved with Escape from New York reboot. Says the last he heard, they were gender-swapping Snake. And here's the great man himself, Mr. Carpenter. And by the way, why does no one ever talk about Assault on Precinct 13 from 1976? One of the greatest action movies ever made. And you know what? I'm going to make a video about it soon because I need to watch that film again. It is such an underrated classic gem of a film. So in 2015, the creator of Luthor, Neil Cross, was hired to write a screenplay for a reboot for Escape from New York. First of all, is anybody hearkening for a reboot? No, nobody is. Is anybody begging for it? No. The project with Cross never went forward, and by 2017, Robert Rodriguez was in negotiations to direct it. Okay, fair enough. I mean, by this point, Robert Rodriguez was not the same Robert Rodriguez from, say, the latter part of the 2000s. And surprise, surprise, it stalled. I think at the time he's working on Alita Battle Angel anyway, or getting that off the ground. And then the big surprise, and this is what I always said to people, Lee Warnell, the man behind Upgrade, which I absolutely love with Logan Marshall Green, was also attached to direct the project. It never got off the ground. It's that rhetoric, isn't it? Again, it never got off the ground. What a shocker. Matt Bettinelli Alpin and Tyler Gillette, they were going to direct this reboot for Escape from New York. The trio previously directed the relaunch of the Scream franchise last year, and in my opinion, it actually failed really hard. So he says here that they're very excited to be working with 20th Century Fox on that. We're developing our take, and hopefully it will be going to script sometime in, well, this year, and just really starting to lay the groundwork for that. It's very early stages, boys and girls, and look, there is only two Escape films, LA and New York. They're both great films in their own right. Valeria Golino, what's happened to her now? God, she was such a big star back in the day. Escape from LA is a fun movie. Bruce Campbell as that deranged, demented plastic surgeon, one of the best roles Mr. Campbell has played. Oh, it's not going to be a remake because, yeah, it's untouchable. Of course it is. But it's not going to be like Scream. It's going to be a nod and a continuation of what we love to do with those characters in that world. Well, I don't know. I am very, very skeptical. And the fact that John Carpenter said, well, the last he heard about it, they were gender swapping the role. Am I surprised at this stage? No, I am not. Are they going to butcher it? And look, I'll be curious to see what they do. Now, Matilda Lutz, who is currently filming the Red Sonja rebooty, is going to be wearing the famous chainmail bikini, so I like that. I think Lutz is a very good actress. I saw her in that Revenge film last year, which I own proudly on Blu-ray. So if they do right with that and we get a successful first outing of that movie, then I'll want to see what they do with a Escape from what? What are you going to call it? Escape from what? Alcatraz, oh, can't do that. Clint Eastwood already made that film back in 1979. So I'm just going to flip my hands up. I don't know. I don't really care. But what you should be caring about, folks, is the fact I'm going to be watching episodes 3 and 4 of Velma in a very short while. So I might need to gag myself after I've watched those episodes. But on that one, folks, I hope you had yourself a lovely week. It's been absolutely freezing cold in the UK. And yes, I'm sat here in my based aqua, well, how can I say, my mirror t-shirt, the only mirror that counts because she's not based on effing Amber Heard. And if I were you, and if you were me, and maybe another print encore sometime in the future, I will see you on the next video.